Hello and welcome back to my Arendelle Speedway toy box for my next episode of Toy Box Tutorials. Today we're going to talk about podiums, and I'm going to add a couple of podiums to the reindeer race that we built back in episode 71. You can find the podiums in the Creativitoys drawer. There's a first place podium, a second place, third place, and a fourth place one. And of course the third and fourth place podiums are pretty much worthless at this point since we don't have online multiplayer anymore. But you can use these podiums in conjunction with a challenge maker to show what place each player finished in a challenge and to give the winning player the full hero treatment. So before we do that, let's take a look at this toy. And I'm going to place down right over here. Well, let's put it right about here. So we'll put a first place one down and a second place one. As we open the logic menu for this, you'll note there are no properties and there's only one logic connection, and it's called player teleported. So when the player is teleported to the top of the podium, then it'll broadcast this trigger signal, which you can then hook up to other toys if you want. Maybe you'll want to set off some fireworks or do whatever you like. And there's also one behavior associated with this toy. And let me just put down a temporary button just so I can show you what it is. I'm not actually going to hook this up, but I'll delete this button in a moment. But if we do a new logic connection when pressed and we come over to the podium, you'll see there's one behavior and it's called teleport player. So that will bring a player to the top of this podium. All right, and that's really all there is to that toy. I also want to point out that under the sports toys drawer, there's this Espn award podium. This is just decoration. You'll notice the logic menu is not available for this, so there's no logic you can hook up to that one. But these from the Creativitoys drawer, you can. And so we're going to go ahead and do that. So we'll add a first place podium and a second place podium to our reindeer race. And so I've already placed these. And one of the things you're going to see when I demo this is that the orientation of this isn't necessarily intuitive. It kind of looks like maybe the camera would be looking at it from here and the player would be facing toward us. Or, since the backside looks identical, he might be facing this way. But actually, the player, as you're going to see, will be facing either this way or that way. And there's no way to really tell which way the player is going to be facing. I can't see anything on that toy that tells me which way they're facing, so you just have to kind of drop them down and see what happens. But to hook these up, it's pretty simple. We come over to our challenge maker. We do a new logic connection when game completed. So at the very end of the game, we're going to come over to our first place podium and we'll connect and we'll say teleport player. And you'll notice it says multiple connections created. So connecting this to the challenge maker did more than the logic connection we just made. And if we open up the menu for this, you'll see there's two connections it made with the challenge maker. We only made one. It automatically created a second one, and it's called Get First Place Player. And if we select that, you'll see it's setting it as the actor for this toy. And so it's putting player one here. Now if we come to the challenge maker and we do the same thing with the other new logic connection on game completed, and we come to this toy, and again we teleport player, and you'll notice we're not telling the toy which player to teleport. It's figuring that out by itself. And again, multiple connections created. You go to the challenge maker and it's getting the second placed player. That could be player one, that could be player two. The challenge maker is the only toy that knows which player is in first place and which is in second place. And the reason it knows that is because if you look at the properties for the challenge maker, I believe it's looking at this. It's looking at, it's either going to be time or it's going to be points, or whatever criteria it's using to determine what the score is, and whether it's connected up for the results to a timer or to a scoreboard. And in this case, it's the timer. So these toys are really easy to hook up. They automatically figure out all of the behavior, which player to put there. So let's go ahead and experiment with this a little bit and try it out and see what happens. So we'll hop on Espn, head over to the challenge maker, and start the challenge. And one of the reasons I chose this one is because it's such a short challenge to do, so we don't have to spend a lot of time doing this. So we'll zip through the course real quick. And since the basketball game that we did the last few episodes is a single-player game, it didn't make sense to demo the podiums for that, so this would make more sense. Alright, and then we cross the finish line. And there we go, 25 seconds. And it drops Mickey on the podium. And notice which way he's facing. So the starting line is behind us. And it also displays the score results. And then if we hit exit, because of the settings that I've got on the challenge maker, it leaves Mickey here on the podium. It doesn't put him in an end locator. And so now that we know which way Mickey is facing, if you want Mickey to face front, we can just rotate both of these podiums like this. And so next time when we play this, Mickey will be facing the direction I want, which is facing that way. Well, that's it for the podiums, and that also wraps up the tutorials for the sports toys, although we're going to continue using some of the sports toys as we move forward. Next Friday, we're going to begin working on a brand new toy box, and we're going to spend a few months examining a variety of new toys, including one advanced toy that's going to tie them all together. It's a very powerful toy that doesn't get used very often, and that toy is the remote controller. It's not obvious at first what you can do with that toy, so I'm going to use it to build a variety of games and missions to demonstrate its capabilities. Until then, I want to thank you for watching, and I hope you found this tutorial helpful. For more examples of what you can do with the sports toys, be sure to check out my Disney Infinity Sports series that's running right now on Mondays and Wednesdays, and my Wonderland Mini Golf series. Those videos should give you plenty of ideas for how to use the sports toys. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, just click my photo in the lower right corner before you go, and make sure your notifications are on, and then you'll never miss an episode. Have a great weekend.